welcome back to yet another episode of Kathor Vaani, brought to you by the Student Alumni Committee of IIM Rohtak. Today, we have with us Mr. Alok Shankar. He completed his MBA from our college in 2017 with specialization in operations, marketing, and finance. He is currently working with US e-commerce giant that is Amazon. Prior to this, he has also worked at Adani Group, McKinsey & Co. and Apollo Munich Health Insurance Company. He has been awarded and recognized for his work in each firm he has worked in. He is a data analytics enthusiast with a black belt in Six Sigma, along with other certifications he has achieved. We are privileged to have you with us, sir, and we are looking forward to having an insightful session with you. Handing it over with my teammates.
Yep. Thanks, Ria, for this introduction. Yeah.
So you have quite an interesting journey. Could you walk us through your career journey?
Yeah, I started my journey in year 2013, the professional journey, if you'd say. All right. I'm an engineer from Mumbai University. I did my engineering from RGIT College, B Instrumentation, and then I got placed into Mahanar Gas Limited, right? That was time when, I was working as a quality assurance person, like an engineering profile. And then I worked there for 3 years. And then I moved to IIM Rohtak. I've given CAD, I moved to IIM Rohtak. So this question people ask, like when I interview or when I was joining IIM Rohtak, people used to ask me like, why have you joined IIM? Why you wanted to get into MBA? The answer that I give is basically I want to do value enhancement in my profile, or something like I really wanted to change in my profile from engineering to management. Is something that I used to say, but this is not the real answer. The real answer I would like to open up over here is basically there are two parts to it, right? One, I was not able to switch my job, right? And then second was I was dating a girl, right, who is my wife now. So I wanted to get into this marriage stuff. So nobody wanted to, help me out when if I were into a Mahanar Gas Limited only. They wanted somebody, right, who can just prove that himself. So that is why the reason brewed in, right, why I just got into this giving CAD and then getting into IM. The moment I got into IIM, that was an amazing 1.5 years. The life that you guys are actually enjoying now is something, one of the best time of your life, which you will regret later part of your journey, because this is time where you can explore, implore, and you can do anything that you want, right? After 1.5 years, I joined Apollo Munich, but before that, let's take a step back. During my summers, I got placed into Apollo Munich Health Insurance as an intern. My job in Apollo Munich Health Insurance was something to reduce the turnaround time for their cashless process, right? That is one of the job that I really like, because my overall background, if you see, is in operations and being into Six Sigma. This is a job that I really wanted to go for it, right? The first thing I was called upon by the CEO of Apollo Munich and Deputy CEO, I would say, Mr. Krishnan Ramachandran. He told me that, look, Alok, the overall cashless approval time is 2 hours. We want to reduce it to by 50%, which is 1 hour, right? When I say cashless approval, it is basically if a patient goes to a hospital, then he applies for medical insurance, where medical insurance takes some time to approve or disapprove the process, right? So he wanted that approval rate or turnaround time to be reduced to half, like 60 minutes. One thing that I really remember till now is, going through the operation management classes and all. Mr. Jhaka sir was, he used to take it. I've gone through this Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification also, and that is where I try to implement whatever I learned in MBA, right? I tried to implement that, and I got this turnaround time reduction, not from 2 hours to 1 hour, but actually to 17 minutes, right? So that was huge implementation. Within a matter of 2 months, I got a lot of accolades and award in Apollo Munich. In fact, during my summers only, I got placed as a full-time employee, right? During the 60th day of my summer internship, I was placed as that was a final placement to me. They have extended the PPO to me. There's a good and bad part to it. Good part was I was placed within 1 year after completion of the course. And the bad part was I was not able to sit for the final placement, right? I had to skip that all, right? So the moment I joined Apollo Munich as a full-time employee, the responsibility was huge because I've already proven myself. I've raised the bar, and hence the new normal to me was to perform way beyond that what was being expected, right? So I had taken few projects that was more into customer resolution reduction, turnaround time reduction, then understanding customer behavior analysis and everything. That was all Six Sigma Black Belt projects. I have implemented all of these things. I got promoted within a year in Apollo Munich Health Insurance, but after that I got an offer, and I have been approached by a couple of companies called McKinsey, BCG, and Ola. There are a few startups which came along. One thing I made sure during my profile, during my journey, was to maintain a good profile, because money will follow if you make a good profile, right? If you follow the trend, if you are into the top 10% of the industry requirement, you'll be able to switch gears according to your requirement, right? And that is how what happened with me. I was called upon by McKinsey and BCG. They have rolled out the offer to me, and then I joined McKinsey, wherein I've been working there as a consultant. And that was the time when I realized that, look, I mean, things are quite bigger outside. Whether because when I was working with Apollo Munich, it was a very Indian company, and then it was a mid tier company. The moment I switched to McKinsey, it was a global brand, right? The impact and the level exposure that I've got was enormously great, right? I'll just give an example in terms of what I was doing. So I was there as a consultant on service operations. I've been working across the globe. When I say across the globe, I travel like more than 30 countries, working with CEOs and CFOs of the company, working with top Fortune top 50, top 10, top 20, whatever you may call it. I've been working with all of these company with CEOs. One of the time, I've shared a boardroom with Warren Buffett as well during one of my client engagement. And then at the same time, I was traveling through business class. All this thing looked very great, very fancy. I was just living the life that I wanted. But at the same time, I was working for almost 17, 18 hours a day, which is very normal in McKinsey, right? When you compare to any of the big consulting firm like McKinsey, BCB, and it is quite normal for you. I was supposed to get shifted to US permanently, which I didn't want, and then hence I had to take a decision whether I want to stay in India and look after my health, or maybe go ahead and do this thing again and again. But I realized that within a matter of 2 years, I have spent a lot of time sharpening my skills and everything, which was very important for me to grow here in India as well. And that is how I landed into Adani, into strategy and business excellence. When I say the strategy and business excellence, it is pure play strategy. It is not like strategy for the namesake. I've been helping company to acquire companies, doing inorganic expansion, organic expansion, understanding what would be the financial KPIs of the company that we are getting into, which would be IRR, ROC, and EBITDA level understanding of what could be if I acquire XYZ company, if I get into XYZ business, how I am supposed to do this geopolitical tension, calibration and everything. So when I say strategy, it is basically everything that we learned in MBA, right? I was doing so, right? And in a couple of months, we'll be able to see there would be some news from Adani, which I was a part of, right? And then second thing that I was doing more so was process excellence and business excellence, wherein I was to, uh, jot down the processes, how the process would look like, and then how we have to how the cases would flow from one bucket to another, understanding the overall architecture of the company, reducing the cost, reducing manpower, automating thing, and all those things which was happening. After a couple of years in Adani, I decided to get into another company, which is one of my dream company, which was Amazon. So I had two dreams: getting to McKinsey, which I've already fulfilled. Second was Amazon, and this is something where I'm seeing a long-term perspective, because I have joined here as a leader, right? I've been allotted a work of automating things in Amazon, doing it very right way. I'm a part of a bigger picture, and here the work that it's been only a month, and then I started working a lot here, and this is where I feel like I love working, right? So whenever I switch companies, whenever I take career progression, I make sure one thing: it's not money, it's about the thing that I'm doing. I should be loving it. So this is all in all my overall experience that I had till now.
It was wonderful listening to your answer. Felt like we were walking in your shoes. Since you worked in Apollo, McKinsey, Adani, how does your work differ from organization to organization?
to be very honest, there is a couple of things that any MBA aspirant or the person who is doing this MBA should know. There are two type of job in India or maybe in the world, right? One is a BAU, which brings which call out as operation, be it any industry or any sector or any vertical, finance operations or anything. There are work where you have to work every day and night, you know what you need to do, right? And there are second type of work which where you don't know what you need to do, right? All the consulting most of the time and business excellence and strategy, they fall in the second bucket, wherein you don't know how your day-to-day work look like. Every day I am supposed to solving a new challenges. I don't know, for example, today I don't know tomorrow what new assignment would come and I have to solve it. One expectation that people have with this profile is you have to solve problem, whether it be you have to change the status quo, whatever it may be, right? You have to be innovative or something. It would be a very challenging work being into consulting and now into Amazon as a leader. I do feel that every day I've been, when I'm leaving is something very different and I have to chase through the problem and then get the solution. Having said that, I'll tell you I'll tell you how my day used to look like. So for example, in some day I've been working on new perspective on how to acquire a company. So for example, if something is looking good to us and in the way that we can be synergy, that there is a synergy which exists between our company and the new company, we can go and do the due diligence of the company. If we acquire them, what would be our IRR increase, or what would be the ROC increase, what would be my revenue increase, whether that would be synergy or not, whether that synergy can help competitor to go out of this place or not. It's something that we used to do on day-to-day basis. Again, on the second part is we have got enormous amount of data now, right? One thing that every MBA, be him or her, is doing into marketing, operations, finance, no matter where they are into, one thing is very important: you have to know how to play with the data. And the more and more we go forward, data is the most important thing that one has to deal with, right? Even if you are not planning now to get into data science thing, you have to go in, and else you will be fallen apart from the mainstream, right? I have learned this very early in my life, and then I started getting into learning Python, visualization tool and everything, because I know all this thing will matter in my life. Even if you're going into strategy, you have to do due diligence. For that, you have a lot of data, you have to make your own hypothesis, test it, and then you have to go forward with it. So being into business excellence and strategy, I would say every day would be different. Every day would be, you will be acquiring something, you will be doing due diligence, or maybe you will be creating product which will be helping customers for for making their life easier. I'll take an example from Amazon only. So for example, let's say if a person is coming on Amazon platform and he or she is having a problem with clicking on let's say adding something to the cart, right? So if this problem persists, this become a voice of customer, and then the voice of customer would be translated to the process improvement department, wherein it will come in such a way that, look, the customers who are coming on the platform are not able to add any item into the cart because of XYZ reason. Then we have to do all the analysis and come up with a design thinking approach wherein customer has to do very little, right? And they don't have to take effort to purchase something. We have to make the process in such a way. So for example, let's say there are the stores in US wherein you just need to go ahead and then you just pick up an item, and the moment you walk out, the amount would be deducted from the credit card. This is the envisage thing that we are doing as a part of different companies. When I was working with McKinsey, as well as I've seen that Amazon is also a leading player into this, right? So all this thing, new assignment is something that comes into pure play for all the consultant and business excellence manager, right? Life, right?
All right, sir, that was interesting. So, my next question to you would be, what are some of the ways in which the industry has evolved in this sector?
Yeah, I mean, to be very honest, I've been working into multiple industry now, right? So I've been working into e-commerce. I was working in infrastructure, energy, consulting, and then insurance. Everywhere, one theme is quite common. They want to get into technology and they want to get into analytics based decision making, right? And these two are the I would say is the most important terminologies and the profile that companies and the industry are looking forward to, right? One is getting into technology. Everything that you are doing should be technology backup. No human intervention is required, is something that company are aspiring to be, right? They are envisaged to do work based on the technology rather than people or manpower intensive companies. Second one is the decision that we are going to take should be based on the data rather than the hunch or the intuition, right? There are some time when you have to take decision based on your hunch, but most of the time you have to take decision based on the data, right? These are the two things that I've seen the industry are taking a leap forward to now. And at the same time, one thing is which is gaining a lot of traction recently is ESG, right? Sustainability and all. Being green is something that people are looking, and all the market which you can see driving now, be it stock market or any other market across the world, they always value the company or maybe in this industry which is getting into tech, analytics, and sustainability, which be it like green or be it like environment, ESG or something. If you have these three dynamics tied to you, you will go ahead in next 10, 15, 20 years, or maybe like next 50 years. Is something these are the things that company are working. I've seen insurance to, for example, Apollo Munich was a manpower intensive. Now thing has changed. Digit has come into picture, right? They are getting into a lot of things have been automated. The moment you can buy policy online, everything will be processed, no manpower intervention, right? So for example, capital intensive to tech intensive transformation has been seen into insurance. For example, if you talk about consulting used to do more of a strategic interest thing, right? We used to give strategy to the company how they can increase their sales and revenue. Now everything is changed. McKinsey is also getting into implementation of technology now. So all these things are reflective in the nature of the company, how they are dealing with the market requirement. If you talk about energy sector, everything from coal based, we are getting into green, right? We are taking tech data analytics, we are making a data center. If you talk about energy infrastructure space, all the new advancement has come in. Nobody wants coal, they want solar, they want wind and everything. So all this technology and advancement has been made now, seeing future into place. And this is how I see that technology, analytics, and then being green is something which every industry is striving to.
That was a really nice answer. How did being a consultant in your past aid you in becoming a strategy and business excellence manager, you'd say?
Say consultant, we actually mean strategic consulting, right? We don't mean IT consulting, we don't mean operation consulting or something. I am quite sure each one of us, if you were to become a consultant, you don't want to become IT consultant doing IT thing. You want to be consultant doing strategic thing, right? Most of us would be doing so. So I'll help you answer like how this consultant is being turned in McKinsey, and then how it has helped me to get into my future role is basically consultant is one who deals with the client, understand client problem, client requirement, helping client to do strategic, intervention to gain their gain their revenue, decrease their cost, basically increase their profitability, or maybe the vision that they have been set up into their organization. Consultant help them to achieve those vision or mission. So for example, if I'm working with Fortune 500 companies, let's say I'm working with FMCG, they want some new product line, or they want some places where they can set up their stores, brick and mortar stores. I'll be as a consultant helping them out in terms of doing the analysis of whether it would make sense in terms of the business opportunity that they are seeing. Is it viable for them to sustain with the profitability for next 5 to 10 years? Client do not have this answer. Being a consultant, you have to provide them answer to make them help to achieve those things or the goals that they have set up for themselves. And why they trust client, why they trust McKinsey or somebody, because all these consultants are, they are talent enough to help them out in terms of doing so, because they have got higher IQ, they have got better business understanding, and they know how to create a storyline to it, right? In McKinsey, we used to do so, right? Now, while this we are doing, it is very important and imperative for us to understand how we have done this. We have done this because of a lot of effort have been put in in terms of understanding the market, having the database that we have in McKinsey is like over 100 years company, right? We have the database of each and everything. We have the tech advancement and knowledge, right? When you have all this thing on the plate, you are better off than any of the company who are actually driving into the market, right? So for example, let's say if there is a FMCG company, they have been doing business for 100 years, but still McKinsey would help them out. How? Because we have the depth and granularity of how and what needs to be done to increase the sales or whatever the vision they have set up for themselves. Having said that, while I was working in McKinsey, I've gained all those things. I know how to put my thought across the company, across how I can articulate my thoughts. And this is how I have convinced Adani that if they hire me, I'll be able to solve that problem the way that I have solved in my previous experiences as well. I have shown them with the client list that I have been working upon without naming it, and what impact that I have brought into the system has helped me to get selected in Adani. And within Adani, I have utilized all those things that I have learned in McKinsey. And I've been fortunate enough that wherever I've gone, I have secured outstanding performance, because it is all because of my learning at IIM Rohtak, plus whatever I've done in Apollo Clinic and my past experiences in Adani or maybe McKinsey, you'd say. So I mean, this consult, if you have done consulting, if you are a consultant, you can switch gears into any industry, any sector you want. This is how consulting make you so mistake proof.
In a world where competition is ever increasing, how do you keep yourself motivated to achieve the best?
See, I mean, it is very important for a person to stay on ground, right? If you are so I've been I've been attending Sadhguru's podcast as well, where I've learned that he says one thing, right? The moment you want to grow up, you should be treating yourself as a person without knowledge, right? The moment you consider you don't know anything, you start learning things, right? One thing that I make sure is, whenever I go, I try to learn new things. I try to respect people. I stay on ground. I try to understand what the company is going into. I never, I because these are the trait of being a leader. If you talk about any leader in the past or who have made a fortune company, right? There are things into common. All these things will drill down that they consider themselves to be very, very very, very I would say very, very simple person. They don't consider themselves to be one of the person who owns a billion or trillion dollar company, right? So one thing that I've tried, and I've been walking the same shoe, is I am considering myself fortunate enough to work with all this company. I try to start working from the grassroots while I understand how management is treating us, and I know management problems. So the moment you are able to connect management problem and envisage management vision and connect the dot with the person who is working on the grassroots, is the time when you realize what you need to do. I stay positive. I am very resilient. I give 100% of whatever I'm doing, right? So all these things I think has made me work according to the requirement, and I am a good storyteller. This is what people tell me, right? I don't know whether it holds true or not, but I am able to articulate what I've done into my company, and then this is where people start respecting, and they provide accolades, they provide reward. That motivates me, and I'm always try to I always try to do work which I want, and not like somebody has told me to do that and I'm doing. So this is something which is being a very self-motivated factor for me, because the profile that I carry is something that I love, right? And hence
This also gives us a lot of motivation to achieve the best. Now, for our next segment, which is informal, I would like to hand it over to Aditi.
I would ask you the informal question. So, your first question is, if you could only have three things in your bucket list, what would they be?
So, I mean, it's a very tricky question because my list never ends, right? So, but having said that, first thing that I really want in my life is I want to feature into Forbes 40 under 40 list, right? Which is very aspirational, right? I am nowhere close to it, but I'm striving to do something, or maybe the other thing which can help me out to reach there, right? Second thing that I really want from my life is basically I want to help others, right? So I don't know how to put that across. The moment I started gaining a lot of traction in the industry and being a profession, I felt that the more you give it to the society is something that that you will gain, right? I believe in karma. I believe in karma. I'm a spiritual person, so I think that the more I help people across me, for example, my colleagues or maybe person who is like a person who needs something, if I'm helping them is something which will help me apart going ahead in my life. They will be adding a lot of positivity into my work. So second is I love helping people is something that I'm striving to, and I'm on it now. The third thing that I really want from my life is I want to roam around the world. I've been into 30 countries now. I want to cover rest 70, 75, 80, or how, I don't know what that may be. All right. I've been a traveler, right? I've been, when I was in McKinsey or maybe Adani, I used to travel a lot, but the moment COVID has embarked in our life, everything has changed, right? But still I'm trying to, I am trying to move domestically, but I don't think that that is possible for me to cover international location as well. So the third and last is I would love to wander around the world, meet new people, because I love talking to new people and understanding their perspective. And this is something that I'll be doing in next 5 to 10 years down the line.
Yeah, that's very interesting and aspirational as well. So, next question is, what do you miss the most about your Kathor life?
I cannot answer that in a matter of like half an hour, 1 hour, or in a day. To be very honest, it is something which actually make me emotional. I really like, because the Kathor life that I had, all the things that I have gained till now is basically the work or maybe the study that I've done in Rohtak, right? While when we are into college, we don't realize that the opportunity that have been put in, to us, how huge that is, right? You can make mistake, you can learn from mistake, you have friends. I'll tell you, in my batch of 2017, every person that I've met, every person who belongs from 2017 batch is awesome. You reach out to any of them, they will be going to help you out. I mean, I know people, and right now also when I connect with my colleagues and everything, it doesn't feel like we have just passed like 5 years from the college. Each and every one of us from the 2017 batch, I have respect for them. I have left my life. I lived my life over there. The way that we used to party, the way we used to bunk classes, and we didn't have like much of the room to bunk the classes because of this attendance thing. But I have got a 5 grade drop because I went to Goa for 5 days, and all the B2B classes happened into that time, and and that is how I screwed my this thing grades. But at the same time, the way we used to party in our college, all this freshers, then we used to have this farewell, then placement parties. Every day we have to have this placement, and then we used to go to that party mode, have beer with friends, and then it's a lot of noises, a lot of stories and everything. Every story is I mean very close to me, and whenever I try to I try to remember those stories, I feel I laugh within myself. I mean, I stay in a corner. I stay in a corner, and then I start laughing on all those things, remembering about the past and everything. And I think the most important part of being Kathor is you have to gain connections. You have to respect people. Do not take anything personally, right? Because end of the day, you have to work in a professional world where people would be in enemy would be enough, friends would be very limited. And the way that you get into this Kathor life, you have to make sure that each and every person that you have met into Kathor, be it your ambassador, be it your connection, who talks good about you. And this is what I miss about Kathor life, about amazing people that I've met in 2017 batch, 18 batch, and then 16 batch. All the people were quite amazing. If you talk about IIM Rohtak alumni, they are the best in the world, I would say.
That was quite a nostalgia trip for us. So, next question is, best things you learned being a Kathor?
I learned a lot. I mean, I see there would be qualitative, quantitative answer to it. In terms of acad, I learned what I wanted. I was not a very good grader. I was somewhere around like 6.5 pointers. I have my friend who was into 8 pointers, 7 pointers, and there were a few friends who were into 5 and 4 pointers also. So one thing that I realized, that the pointers does not matter in the real world. And I'm not saying this to demotivate you guys. You have to, you should strive to get into 7-8 pointers, whatever it may be for your life. But I've not seen MBA marks matter anything outside MBA college. The marks which matters a lot is 10th and 12th, right? and maybe engineering for that matter. But I've not seen any MBA marks to reflect into your future performance into this corporate world. One thing that I learned from MBA is, and now I learned, during the MBA I didn't learn this, is you have to, you have to devote time with your friends and everything, understanding their perspective, how they go about about solving the problems, not about getting grades and ditching your friends for getting good grades or something. Because end of the day, MBA is not about getting good grades, it's about learning from your classmate and your colleagues, right? Because right now, so I would put it this way: the more you learn is better. That would be for your professional life going forward. And it is not correlated with your grades. Grade does not portray you into the picture which is very, very realistic. So you should be striving to gain knowledge right from the prof to your colleague, and never and try to help people. Because end of the day, even with the good grades, you won't be able to get good companies. But with good connection, you'll be able to get good companies. You will earn a lot of money if some of your friend would refer you in future, right? So this is my learning from the Kathor life. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, any moment that made you happy about I am Rohtak?
Yeah, I mean, all the moment that I had, I've been happy into my college life. However, the one moment, and that is the one showstopper moment, was the third day of my life. I was attending this financial accounting class by, Reena Kohli ma'am was, teaching us. But while because I was not very good in financial accounting, I was more inclined toward BAV and corporate finance, but financial accounting is something which is mandatory, and I was going through that. While she was teaching, I was just looking at the IM Rohtak logo, and then I realized that, dude, I made into IM. And that is the feeling that I got on the third day, that motivated me for next 1.5 years of my life. And right now also I feel motivated to see the logo of our college whenever I meet any IM Rohtak alumni or maybe a candidate. I really I challenge my status quo to help them, and get perspective from them, help them in terms of gaining their professional life, career, or something. It's something that I really feel like doing so because of this motivation that I belong from I am Rohtak. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, three must-have qualities that everyone should have according to you.
See, the three qualities, I'll put it very, very simply. One is think big, second one is being resilient, and third one is help others, right? Why I'm saying so is, until you don't think big, you won't be able to achieve those big things. Being resilient is because it is inevitable, right? You have to face failure, right? How you put yourself across and how you just come back from this failure is something which defines you. And for that example, the COVID thing has tested our humanity, and we have been resilient, and we just came out of it, and we are still striving to came out of it in a very large aspect and broader way, but still we are trying, right? The third thing is help others, right? The motto for your helping others would be to gain more connection. People will watch for you. The more connection you will have, the better life you will have. So for example, if I want to change company, if I need any help in my life, in a personal life, I need to reach out to a couple of people, or maybe 10-15 people. They're ready to help me, right? From professional life to personal life. I think that is the three quality that one should have.
Okay, thank you for answering these questions. Next, we have a rapid fire round where I'll say a word, and whatever the first thing that comes in your mind, you have to immediately speak it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start. Kathor.
So first thing that came into my mind is the t-shirt that I had of I am Rohtak logo. Yeah.
Okay. Hangout place in Rohtak.
360. So we have a bar called 360. I don't know whether it exists or not. We used to party there a lot.
Okay. Library.
Library, I never visited there, by the way. Library is my hostel room, right? All the people that I met, I used to study there only. Yeah.
Okay. Hostel.
Hostel, so that is Everest Boys Hostel, right? So that is the place where we spend most of our time, right? We used to see people playing cricket and then all the mess things. So when you say hostel, it gives me Everest Boys Hostel ka blue wala sticker.
Roommate.
My roommate Akshay Garg. So basically, he's CFA level 3, FRM level 2, and I used to make fun of him a lot. But that is a guy who is really very close to me, and recently he got married. So I mean, he's the roommate to be. To be. I mean, he's the one roommate which defines you how roommates should be, right?
It's always great to have a nice roommate.
Yeah.
Presentation.
I remember a presentation now. So that was related to managerial communication. I would say, I don't know if it is MC or I don't know what do we call now. So there was a presentation when we used to give presentation on the Pulsar bike, right? That was our first presentation. So we actually, there was a guy, Varun, and there are a couple of more people into our group, Ashish and something. So we actually planned how we are supposed to narrate the story of Pulsar in a hostel room in the night. 1 hour we actually practiced, right? That is the first and the last time we practiced before the presentations. Yeah.
Okay. Free riders.
Oh, I should not take my, if I should not take my name, then the free rider would be, there is one of my best friend who is Dhruv. So I don't know why I remembered his name.
Uh, okay. Next is group projects.
Group projects, so we have a group project called finance ka group project. So when you say group project, I remember me, Gagi, Barjinder, Akshay, and there are a couple of more people in our group, and they are working and I'm just sitting and watching them. Yeah.
Infusion.
Infusion. So there was a song called Baby Doll where on which I danced. So I don't know why I did this, but whenever I remember those things, I mean, I still laugh, and I am sure like most of people who will listening to this would be laughing also.
Okay. Least favorite subject and your most favorite subject.
My least favorite subject was organization behavior. I don't know why that subject exists in MBA course, but now I realize that is the most important subject in the outer world. And the best subject that I have learned, there are a couple of best. One is BAV, business valuation subject, and then there is operation management. I would say these are the two subjects which actually I'm using till now in my career. And then yeah, statistics, the most important. I forgot. Yeah.
Okay. Mess.
Mess is I am Rohtak mess where we used to get not very good food.
Maggie.
Maggie is the night canteen Maggie. It's been like years that I had Maggie in right at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock with the 2 o'clock in the night. The Maggie with the omelette. So we used to call that Anda Maggie.
Okay. Coffee breaks.
That was not our break. Our break was something different, right? So we used to have like a sutta break. Yeah.
Deadlines.
Oh, deadlines. Every day was a deadline. So I remember, uh, putting everything on Elixir on the last moment. So when you say deadline, whole I am Rota comes into picture.
Okay. So next is classroom.
Sorry.
Classroom.
The when you say classroom, so I belong from section B. So we had our CAD room. I don't know which, it does not exist now. So that was the room that I remember. I was row number 62. I used to sit in the front row, left side of the professor, and that is the place that I remember when you say classroom.
Okay. So that was it for the rapid fire round from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Alok, for taking time from your busy schedule and being with us today. It was a great pleasure learning and listening from your experiences. We are grateful for having you as the guest of our day, and thank you once again. And for more such engaging sessions of Kathor Vaani, stay tuned. We'll be back soon.